Hi everyone, this is an activity called making and ordering numbers. So we're going to make some numbers, then we're going to find a way of putting them on number lines in a way that I hope it'll be a lot of fun for you. So first of all, rather than just make numbers up that have no meaning to us, we want to have numbers that the kids might have some sort of relevance to. So once again, today I'm just using some counters that we have at school. But I understand it also that at home you may not have counters, so you could use things like jelly beans, bits of pasta, you could use Skittles. Sorry to keep referencing to lollies and things, but there's just a range of things. Clothes pegs, you could use anything that can be counted. Screws from out in the shed. You can break up bits of spaghetti, all sorts of things. Anything that can be counted. So what we do first of all is just grab a small handful. Not a massive handful, which is what kids can often do, but just a small handful. And all I've done, I've just grabbed a few and I'm just going to drop them down there. My first thing is I'm just going to estimate how many I think are there. Now, we don't want to fall in the trap of trying to count so that our estimate is really close. We just have a guess. I'm just going to say I think I've got about 22 there. So what I do now is I count them. And in other clips I've said, let's store them in the same shape as a 10 frame. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, move these out of the way, 5, and I just keep making my groups of 10, which is much easier to count. The reason I use this pattern is this is what the kids are familiar with from their early counting, that they see it's a row of 5 and another row of 5 makes 10. Also, if you see a 5 and then 3 more, rather than counting all, we can say, 5 plus 3 makes 8. 8 and 2 more makes 10. Just leave a little gap between my next 10 so I don't get confused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll start another row for my next 10, just so it resembles a 10 frame as much as possible. And 3, so I've got 2 lots of 10, so that's 10, 20. I didn't have to count all of them because I know that when I've got 2 complete sets, I know I've got 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and I'll start another row. So now I've got 10, 20, 25, 26. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write that number on a piece of paper, just like this, 26. I'm then going to make a number of other groups. For example, I won't use that same lot again. I'll just grab another handful and I'll just dump the handful there. And once again, it's fairly similar to my last one. I'm going to say that's about 19. I'll count them, I'll sort them into the 10 frame pattern, and I'll write a number. So all I want you to do now is create maybe 5 or 6 numbers, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I've just done some more grouping, picking up a handful of counters, throwing them on the ground in a little pile, estimating, and then actually counting them. And these are the groups that I've made. I had one group that had 29, I had a group of 14, a group of 18, a group of 12, and a group of 26. I'm now going to put them on a number line. Okay, what we've done now, we've got our numbers that we've made from our grouping activity, and we're trying to make sure that we can use numbers that we've created ourselves to have a bit more relevance and meaning to the kids. What we've done here, we've pegged them up on the string, and I've got them in order, 12, 14, 18, 26, 29. With your kids, one of the early activities, just place them in order, terrific. But then as they get more familiar with it, we can take it a step further. As I look at this now, I can think, I might rub that off first of all. What we can do here is, as you can see here, I wonder what number or numbers go between 12 and 14. And for those playing at home, we know that number 13 belongs in there. Just one number. But between 14 and 18, there's 15, there's 16, and there's 17. So there's 3 numbers that belong in there. Between 18 and 26, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there's 7 numbers go in there. between 26 and 29, 27 and 28, two numbers. And what I'm pointing at there is just, I'll put that there so it all represents the same. In this gap, the gaps are fairly equal between each, yet one number there, three numbers there, seven numbers there, two numbers there. When we have that same gap in between the numbers, sometimes it can give the kids a false sense of security that, oh, if there's one number there, there might only be one there, there might only be one there. So, instead of placing just in order, let's give them a bit more relevance. If I created a number line, said 0 is there, and 30 is here. Once again, you choose a number range suitable to the age and experience of your children. I know that, I don't know if that's where I'd put 12, if that was where 30 is. I know that on a number line, the halfway mark between 0 and 30 is 15. So halfway is about, I'm just going to estimate that there. Well, I know that 14 is very close to 15, which would be the halfway mark. So I'm going to move my 14 up. I know that my 18 will be a bit further up the number line now, away from 15. Depends on which numbers the children feel confident with. 29, very close to 30, so that would come further up the number line. I know that 26, well, it's probably closer to 29 than it is to 18, so I'll move that up as well. And then 12 is very close to 14, so I'll move that across. So what we've got now is 14 is just less than the halfway mark. There's only one number that goes in there. We've got 3 numbers to go in there. We've got 7 numbers to go in there. We've got 3 to go in there. So what we've created is a space that is relevant to how many numbers go in there. And now that can change differently with the number lines. You might have a number line with 0 to 500. So for some of your older children, they might have different activities for making their numbers. Instead of just picking up a group of tiles or counters or jelly beans, whatever, they might roll 3 dice, create various 3-digit numbers. They could just look at football scores. They could do anything where the numbers have got a bit more relevance and meaning to them and place them on the number line. We don't always have to start at 0. For example, 0 to 20, and if children are placing numbers there, they might place, where does the number 10 go? Well, about the halfway mark, goes there. Where would 5 go? Halfway between 0 and 10, and so on. But if I changed it again, 0 to 10, where would the 5 go this time? Well, there's 10 there, about the halfway mark. Can you see how, depending on what the range is, the numbers can change position on a number line? On a 0 to 10, it's there. On a 0 to 20, it's there. So, we're just experimenting with all the different ways number lines can be created, and also not always starting at 0. 12 to 56, where would the number 29 go? Where would the number 30 go? They don't always have to start at 12. They can also be number lines, that could be. What about, where would your numbers go now? A lot of estimation, and once again, I emphasise, this is where you're getting further up. We start simple, we build it up. But experiment with this, see how you go. Where would decimal numbers go? If I had a number line such as this, what numbers are in between 0 and 5? We'll start with probably getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that all? Are there numbers in between 1 and 2? Between 2 and 3? Much more for the older kids, but there's a wealth of activities to do here and a wealth of exploration. Hope you enjoy it.